Yeah, you kind of are running out of characters on the show.
No,
especially
never.
from that preview that you just showed.
Oh, well, that was, we just wanted to get that out of the way. Because, we start 1 year later, and we pick up with a new story, brand new year with Connie. And I just want to set the, because I really want to, set the stage with her and sort of show Ryan a year later and how he's sort of coping at post Claire and last year's events and how he's turned his life around a little bit. And just build him up a little bit before. You know what happened is someone leaned against it. Because I almost made that mistake. It's not a wall. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Question? I totally lost my train of thought.
Just talking about where things are going for the next season.
It's
Who's
really
left and who's coming in.
Well, it's really hard to talk about because you don't want to give anything away because everything is you like the show to sort of unfold and be a surprise as it happens but it is sort of a year later. Ryan Hardy's in a different place. He's sort of gotten his heart together. He started doing some heart management. He's jogging. He's taking care of himself. He's on a nice heart therapy, and he can run and he's exercising. He's very healthy, and it's sort of the whole metaphor. He's just sort of brought himself. The heart's a muscle. You just have to exercise it and it gets better. And that's what he's done, and he's done that physically, mentally, spiritually, and he's in a different place. He's teaching criminology at an academy, and he's sort of putting his life together. We meet his niece, Max, and he hasn't really had a big relationship with her. There's only like a few Hardys left because most of them are dead, and he's got a sister down in Boca, and he's got his niece Max from his oldest brother who died in 9/11, which we set up last year. And he's sort of, she's a cop. They're all cops in the Hardy family. And she's there to sort of, and she very, very much loves having her uncle in her life. She's waited a long time for that to happen. And she does it, she's even when he tries to push her away, she doesn't go anywhere. She's a really tough character, and she's a lot of fun. And I really like her. She's doing a good job. They have great chemistry together. So those scenes are a lot of fun to shoot. And Weston and Ryan have a lot of great chemistry, and so that's a big part of the show this year is their relationship and how it sort of starts and twists and turns, and that relationship's a lot of fun. It's very emotional.
I have a question. I have interviewed you.
Yes.
I feel like for 10 years, show after show after show. How do you do it? Where does it come from? Because I mean, it's like Dawson's Creek, Vampire. The list just goes on and on. How do you come up with new ideas? What do you do?
Oh, wow.
Where do they come from? Where does the magic happen?
Well, I don't know if it's magic, but it's just, I don't know. It's, if you do it every single, I think the trick is you write every day. I write every single day. Whether I'm writing, Vampire Diaries or primarily focused on this show. I'm not even writing Vampire Diaries.
Right.
However, the 100th episode's coming up, and Julie's where are you? So I keep playing with the idea of doing that with our 100th episode because I desperately want to, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen. But I don't know where it comes from. If you write every single day, you just keep writing, you just keep creating, you just keep thinking of stuff. Like once you start doing it, you don't stop.
And for the following, do you plan out? Because as it's going on, you're going, I have no idea what's happening, and then at the end you're like, like it all fits together.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, hopefully it all fits together. I mean, it doesn't always start that way or work out that way, but we learned a lot from last year. I have a really great group of writers. I sit in a room prior to the show starting, and I sit in a room with 6, 7 other writers, and we have whiteboards all around the room, and we break everything out. We have 15 episodes. We sort of figure out where we're going to start. We sort of want to figure out. We start talking, the characters. Who is Ryan? What's his big journey this year? What was his journey last year? Was he just sort of went into this descent into hell? And what it can't be that this year. It has to be different. So what's the take on that? Well, it can be a descent into hell, but it better either go deeper and darker and further, or he better get out of it, and he better find some redemption and find some hope. And what are the big emotional challenges? If he's having, both characters last year are having died. And so this year there's the resurrection, and we sort of watch Joe Carroll and his path, and we watch Ryan Hardy and his path, and they both sort of are trying to find some hope, and it's fun to watch. I think it's an emotional season. I hope it's an emotional season.
Well, after all the controversy about the violence last season, are you going to push the envelope the same way this season?
No, it's like, well, all that controversy. I just want to smack these people in the head. But I, I'm very respectful. I want to, last year I was very sort of tight-lipped about it all because I just wanted to be respectful of also the climate of the country, because it is we are sort of living in a very crazy time. But that's what a show like this does. It mirrors what's going on in the real world, and I'm not trying to push the envelope. I'm just trying to tell a really scary story, and it's a very violent story. And it's one of those shows where if you have a problem with violence and murder and crime and all that mayhem, you should probably turn the channel. And if you're a parent, you better, some good parenting will come into play on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. So I really think that's what all you have to do is really monitor the children's viewing habits. And then if you don't like violence, turn it off, because yes, it is violent. We're not trying to push the envelope, but we're trying to tell a scary story, and it is about a bunch of characters who are extremely violent. So therefore, and we're dealing with mental illness, and we're dealing with psychopaths. And one of the things we're talking about this year is up until this recently, psychopaths have been void of empathy, but now there's all these new studies saying that psychopaths can actually feel empathy and they can actually experience it, and it's just fun to delve into Joe Carroll with empathy. It'll be fun. So we're having fun with all this stuff. So
will Joe still be the central villain going into season 2, or will we see maybe some of his followers become bigger villains in their own right?
Well, yeah, the story's not going to, it can't follow the same trajectory as last year, so we sort of have switched it up a little bit. And there are some other villains that do surface in some interesting and surprising ways that will prove a challenge for Ryan, not only Ryan, but Joe Carroll as well. So, it's going to be, it's sort of, we keep bringing in new villains. It's something that happens throughout the entire season. It's not just one villain. So we're having a lot of fun with it. It's kind of like Joe Carroll. What happened last year spawned a whole bunch of people to surface. He's got a lot of, Joe Carroll in a weird way has created a climate of what happened last year. Has created a climate that has sort of sparked the interest of a lot of psychopaths. So.